There are three things that destroy our senses: pollution, violence, and deception. Pollution will inhibit your body from its full bioelectrical capacity, preventing neural communication from fully witnessing the life present. Violence breaks parts of our body, creating scar tissue that lacks neural and vascular innervation. Deception breaks parts of our memory, creating discomfort and cognitive dissonance when the labels we know clash with reality. Mental illness is when one identifies as the breaks, which inhibit our ability to be in higher consciousness. All three of these run deep into the history that the spirit remembers. All times exist in conjunction. The difference is how separated you are from this moment in relation to all moments. Each one is just as important in the grand scheme, and there are so many moving parts of consciousness that are constantly recycling life through the collective of all. Each one of us is constantly making the choice as to what we serve, and the lower aspects of this world are incredibly heavy in the gravity that pulls us away from our higher capacity. Your ego is how you relate with your emotions, which are always present whether you pay attention to them or not. Children begin this world as enlightened beings, but the trauma being perpetuated in this world will constantly reshape our brains away from what is real. We are trained to be obedient and servile, but exactly what it is that we are serving is where we must seek inwards to rediscover our soul. Transcending ego does not mean getting rid of it, but rather have it in an appropriate perspective. One must admit they know nothing before they can first grasp something, as the material world is only the surface level that becomes illusory when we lack our proper senses. The human brain works by labeling and categorizing everything in its perception. I look down and see a keyboard, whereas a dog will see a contraption that smells weird and a cat will see the colors. If you are only paying attention to the surface of the labels, then you will never see what is moving behind the scenes, especially in the labels of how one refers to themselves in their thought and speech. We do not realize the immense space that is between our emotions and our thoughts because it happens so fast. Can you feel the space in your brain? With practice, you can move between these rooms in your head and unpack what is within. And oh boy, there is a lot to unpack. The brain is a sponge that is programmed by these electrical signals created by oxidizing blood. However, the heavy metal pollution of this world from lead, arsenic, cyanide, and other toxic materials pump through our brain with gravity pulling them down to our innermost brain organs. The shrapnel passing through the soft flesh gets caught, creating a shell of insulating materials that hinder our ability to actually connect to our innermost emotions. Lead literally blocks bioelectricity from being able to reach the core state, transmuting lead into the which is using our willpower to examine the blockages and reroute our thoughts around the impediment so that blood can flush it out. We always see from our third eye, but most people do not even realize it. Close one eye, you see from the open one. Switch eyes, you see from the other. But the mental map creating the whole of vision that you partake is a result of the third eye. Opening it is learning how to move it as easily as the others. With this ability, our space as a multidimensional being truly takes hold as you can move your consciousness up and down your spine, truly opening your perception to another axis of movement from before. Have you ever been so focused that you didn't hear somebody calling your name? The sleeping state is when our subconscious focus is too busy trying to uphold an image in our mind resulting from the past thoughts we have embodied in our neural pathways, unable to take control of its third eye because of the weight carried deep within. There is only a small part of you that is looking at the world through two magnifying glasses, and the light traveling on the neural wiring to reach that point gets pulled down and distorted by the lead and other heavy poisons. It completely warps our vision into forgetting anything beyond itself. We are born enlightened, curious, empathic, and desperately loving. We lose it as the poisons begin to set hold and spells hold our thoughts in specific prisons. The work of rediscovering the nuances of our inner soul is figuring out how many pollutants in our mind and body are preventing our spirit from being properly witnessed. But in war, the first casualty is the truth. The most wounded is our humanity, which gets completely lost when we forget how to see a human for a human and relabel it as an enemy. Stare long enough into the abyss, and it stares back at you. You cannot understand your own humanity if you can't see it in every other one of us. We must work through our own pollutions, our own hatred, our own violence to rediscover the inner child that was lost to it. The journey into our third eye is clean and clear as the awakening path.